Thanks for tuning back in. I'm Tommy Campbell, still bald, still in my basement, and I just love seeing Donald Trump and his Republicans that make everything about church and God getting destroyed by the Bishop of Washington. Fantastic. From terrorist to terrorist, I'll be getting into it all. There's a lot of stupid to unpack, and I gotta say, I'm just grateful to be married to someone that doesn't go to such great lengths to avoid my kisses that she'll dress like Raiden from Mortal Kombat. Nothing but air. Trump is scared of his own wife. He could have lifted that Hamburglar hat or let his spray tan crusted face dent the rim for just a second, but that was a hard no. Don't want to upset the amateur swimsuit model that barely speaks two languages.
At Capital One Arena for folks, but nobody's going to be outside now. What's your reaction to that?
So we're not going to get to see it in person then. Is that correct?
That's right.
Well, I don't like it. I mean, we came all the way from Washington, from Oklahoma, and, you know, now we're not going to get to see it. We might as well stay home and watch it on TV.
It sucks. Let me rephrase that. It's not good.
Yeah, it's actually something that we've been looking forward to for historical purposes, and being a part of it, that's once in a lifetime.
Absolutely.
We made all the plans, all the arrangements to come up and be a part of this event. And all of a sudden to hear that it's being moved indoors,
we're prepared for the weather. It's not a problem.
They're prepared for the weather. It's not a problem. Yeah, well, your tough guy couldn't handle the cold. And it was a sunny day. I don't know if you watched the playoffs on the weekend, but there were two stadiums filled with fans that watched their teams play in the snow. I get you and your buddy splashed on a trip to Washington and had your skunk chin mullet trimmed to perfection, but you should have saved your money for a nice weekend somewhere with the wife. If you have a wife, take her out for prime rib or something. Trump is not a tough guy. He's weak, and he had no problem letting you down, and this is just the start, so buckle up. Trump's campaign was garbage trucks and fast food, but the inauguration was far from that. Even Ron DeSantis couldn't get in the room. Elected officials were not allowed to bring their spouses, but billionaires, sit what you want, do what you want. Look at Zuckerberg getting a gander at those puppies. Jeff's fiancée, Lauren Sanchez, was front row and good to go. You know she's a licensed pilot? Well, it wasn't just Trump supporters that were left in the cold. There was a time when MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell was the rich guy in the room for Trump. And now he's on a network a level below the one Matt Gaetz is on, rambling on the street to a shrinking crowd.
Friends from back then, they're going, what is this crack addict sitting next to the president? Jesus is real, because this would be impossible. And for me, I remember when I first had a dream that I would meet Donald Trump before he even ran for president. And I go, why would I meet Donald Trump? Yes,
Lindell claims he had dreams about meeting Donald Trump before he even ran for president. He also just talked about crack, so...
We're getting in a plane and heading to California in July of 2016. And I bought this magazine on Donald Trump, and I'm opening up, and I had my phone set to it would ding if I got an email. And
I had my phone set to ding if I got an email. It's called a notification. There are many kinds, like the one Mike Johnson gets when his son starts looking at what Ted Cruz does. Honestly, Lindell, take off your clothes. I just want to see how many of those LifeWave stickers you're actually wearing, because I bet it's a hard zero. Donald Trump did not place his hand on the Bible, probably because it would have burst into flames. Now watch Trump, Vance, Melania, well, everyone here as the Bishop of Washington unloads on them.
I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families. Some who fear for their lives. And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meatpacking plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals, they may not be citizens or have the proper documentation. But the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes and are good neighbors. They are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, wadara, and temples.
Everyone here wanted to Josh Hawley it out of there, and they couldn't. Donald Trump cowered in church, but played keyboard tough guy back at home, taking to Truth Social to call her a so-called bishop, a radical left hardline Trump hater, saying she brought her church into the world of politics in a very ungracious way. She was nasty in tone and not compelling or smart, and called her service a very boring and uninspiring one, saying she's not very good at her job. She and her church owe the public an apology. I don't care what you believe in. At the end of the day, we're all people sharing a planet, trying to get by, and the best way to do that is with each other. And it's just insane that this lot are so against these marginalized people, but just pardoned 1,500 criminals that took place in a brutal attack, including commuting the sentences of Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys, Tario, Barnett, even Rhodes, all free. I guess Rhodes' eye socket finally gets a break from the nightly Randy Westing. It just does not seem to make the news, ever. The Proud Boys are designated as a terrorist organization in New Zealand and Canada. They have the same classification as Al-Qaeda. This never comes up, and it should. He freed terrorists, and these people feel vindicated, and it's open season for them. I make this show 100% on my own thanks to you. If you love what I do, drop me a super thanks, consider leaving me a PayPal tip, or hit the join button to support what I do here.
But we remain confident in the facts. Canadian energy powers American manufacturing, businesses, and homes. Of America's top 5 trading partners, Canada is the only one with whom the United States runs a trade surplus in manufacturing. And Canada buys more goods made by Americans than China, Japan, and Germany combined. On top of that, President Trump said that he wants to usher in a golden age for the United States. That will require more steel and aluminum, more critical minerals, more reliable and affordable energy, more of everything to run the U.S. economy full steam ahead. Canada has all those resources, and we stand at the ready to work with the United States to create a booming and secure North American economy. The alternative for them would be more resources from Russia, China, or Venezuela. Canada is a safe, secure, and reliable partner in an uncertain world.
I mean, what's the point of manufacturing if you're losing one of your biggest customers? Oh, and you can't manufacture because you don't have the power to run your plants. It's truly stupid, but it's also stupid that people hope to replace Trudeau with a maple MAGA version.
President Trump also repeated his concerns about the border. While less than 1% of fentanyl and illegal immigrants that enter the United States come from Canada, our government has already acted to address the concerns raised by the President about border security with an over $1 billion comprehensive border plan. We're already working collaboratively to keep our citizens safe on both sides of the border. Of course, if the President does choose to proceed with tariffs on Canada, Canada will respond, and everything is on the table.
And remember, Trump wants to use national security as his tool to push this through. The same guy that just released a bunch of people that Canada designates as terrorists. It's not just mineral, softwood, and maple syrup. On the consumer side of things, the largest liquor purchaser in the world is the LCBO, a crown corporation with $7 billion in annual revenue. Premier Doug Ford, not to be confused with Rob Ford, the crack mayor, do you remember all that? Well, they're brothers, and both conservative. If this all happens, Doug has ordered the LCBO to remove all American products from the shelves. Billions in revenue, from California wines to Kentucky bourbon. It is just stupid to be doing this, but the world has to deal with stupid for the next few years. Trump is not good at relationships. Look at his life. Look at his friendships.
I'm very good at math and very good at numbers
counter.
And card counting and deviations. And
Mike has projected this image of himself as a card counter so much that the reporter is all in. I mean, if you're new to this, Lindell has been making these claims of calculus and card counting for years.
I took calculus in 8th grade. I said I took calculus in 8th grade. I said I was a professional card counter for part of my career, and I may have been an ex-crack addict and stuff, but I did take calculus in 8th grade. I can glance down those numbers, Remember, Brandon, I took calculus. The one thing I did pretty good at, I took calculus in 9th grade. We took the numbers and you extrapolate them over the state of Florida, all the counties and all the people, and the theft comes out to like 960 some thousand.
Can't even get it right if it were 8th or 9th grade. I guess it's tough to remember one digit when you're a math genius. Also, calculus, extrapolate, and grants are not real words. But since he's talking about being this math genius by comedy law, I have to run this clip.
They will be made unconstitutional. That was A. B, declare the November 2020 election results unreliable and therefore void. Number C. Number C. Number C.
I think it's very simple. Look, if you protested peacefully on January the 6th and you've had Merrick Garland's Department of Justice treat you like a gang member, you should be pardoned. If you committed violence on that day, obviously you shouldn't be pardoned. And there's a little bit of a gray area there, but we're very much committed to seeing the equal administration of law. And there are a lot of people, we think, in the wake of January the 6th who were prosecuted unfairly. We need to rectify that.
All right, the president.
Well, they let them all go there, couch pounder. The only gray area J.D. Vance sees are the Yeti pubes when he's helping Eric with the golden turd tongs. Ridiculous. You know, I have been fasting this week because I have a not very fun procedure at the hospital, but it makes me laugh that when it was scheduled, I did not think this would all be happening.
Stability that we were asking for. Daddy's back. And that's what you're going to see.
So you just...
I got nothing. It's just weird. Daddy's back? Trump did not place his hand on the bauble. Probably the bauble. The bobblehead. There's a lot of stupid to unpack, and I gotta say I'm grateful to be married to someone that doesn't go to such great lengths to avoid my kisses that she'll dress like Raiden from Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat. It's a video game. I get you and your buddies splashed on a trip to Washington, had your skunk chin mullet trimmed to perfection. What is that? Oh my gosh. Start over. Yes, Lindell claims he had dreams about meeting Donald Trump before he was president. Who dreams about Donald Trump? Well, like I said, he mentions crack a lot here. It's called a notification. There are many kinds, like the ones Mike Johnson gets when his son starts looking at what Ted Cruz does. A free way to support me is by doing your regular Amazon shopping through my link in the description. That's it. It costs you nothing. Just got to click here, and it helps me keep the show going.
The Tommy Campbell Show is the best political comedy show on YouTube. And I hope you subscribe.